Have you ever heard of a dad buying a business for his teenage son when the son just wanted to figure out a way to make $225? Well, you might think that's a little bit crazy, but the entrepreneur you're about to hear about here in this clip is maybe a little bit crazy in a really good way. He's an engineer. You might say, well, I'd expect as much from an engineer, but he's, in this case, engineering his son's future. His name is Zane Pucylowski. He's founder of Phoenix Engineering and Phoenix Marketing, and his YouTube channel is called Zane Engineers Life. And here he is. Tell me about the soap company that you bought for your son to run.
That's a great story. So I appreciate you having me on, Patrick. Love your channel, all the stuff that you're doing. So happy to help you in any way that I can. That's an interesting one. So I was kind of working the corporate gig. I grew up. My dad built houses, so I grew up in a small business. I watched the struggle. I watched all the things that went on. I wasn't sure if that was the path I wanted to go. I thought maybe I wanted to work in a bigger company and work my way up and be amazing there and those kind of things. And I had kind of done those things and got in political battles and all kinds of things in a couple of companies. And I was working for a particular company, trying to figure out if I wanted to go out on my own, what I wanted to do, what my future was going to be. And I just found Rich Dad, Poor Dad, found a couple of books that were similar, ended up on this thing called the FastLaneForum.com, MJ DeMarco, his books, those kind of things. And I was really digging into entrepreneurship and, hey, did I want to go that route and what did I need to do? Well, my young son comes in one day and he's like, hey, Dad, I want to buy this, Monster Super Chief Techno thing. And I was like, that's cool. Well, how much does it cost? Oh, it's $225. Okay. Well, if I had brought something like that to my dad when I was growing up, I'd immediately gotten my tail whipped, right? Like, that's ridiculous. But I thought, wait a minute. What if I do something different? What if I go, okay, that seems like a good bit of money. How can we make $225? And interestingly, I think that evening I was on this forum and somebody said, hey, I've got this little company I set up. I've done everything I want to do with it. I'm going to get rid of it. Does anybody want to buy it? And I'm like, sure, I want to buy it. And it ends up being Santa Monica Soap Company. And it was super cool because I was trying to figure out Amazon and FBA and all those kind of things at the time. And here was this opportunity with my kids here's an opportunity for us to create value. Because I had decided early with my kids, there would never be an allowance. There would never be, I'm just going to give you money. I never wanted them to trade their time for money. That was kind of a big thing for me. I wanted them to trade their value and create value for other people. So for instance, with that, they always had chores and things because you have to help your family first and you don't get money for that, right? And then if you want money, you've got to create some value. You've got to do something. You got to sell something. You got to create some value in the world. So here was this cool opportunity. And, come to be announced, it turned out really well. I mean, these kids were making, 100 and 125K a year. They were stacking bank. My kids suddenly have tons of money in their pocket.
These kids, meaning your kids.
Correct. I set it all up. I kind of got it going, but I let them do all the work. They brought in the product. They broke it up. They cured it. They labeled it. They packaged it. It was kind of cool. I'm an engineer, so I set up a little assembly line for them. And within like 5 minutes, my young kid had completely changed it and was getting out like 3 times as much product in the same amount of time. So
they were really moving the soap. That's too good.
Such a great lesson. There were so many cool routes that we could go from this. I do have one really cool story just to help with the dad part of this, Patrick. So my youngest, he's been working for a little while. He's got the company going. We're shipping out product. We're putting things on Amazon. We're thinking about new scents and flavors and what we're going to do. We'd actually started trying to sell them into local stores, to get him a little experience being told no by people. And one day it's like, hey, this is getting to be a lot of work. I think we should get some help. And, my friend, he needs some money. So what if we just hired him and paid him like, X dollars an hour? I was like, okay, that's cool. But let's work back through your profit margins, right? Let's work back through your product costs, your gross margin, and those kind of things. And then suddenly it hit him like, wait a minute, I would literally be giving him all of my profit. So suddenly he decided, you know what? I don't think I'm going to hire that friend because he's lazy and doesn't work very hard. I'm going to hire this other friend because he's hardworking and he'll take less money and I can make more money.
Well, now, were you on the kind of the periphery here, or did you give him that advice, or are you just glad that he was able to learn that organically?
I kind of let it flow, right? There were so many different things that the kids got out of this. You know, one morning my son's like, "Hey, Dad, I noticed that now I have a lot of money. A different kind of girl wants to talk to me at school." And I was like,
Life
"That's
lesson.
interesting. Tell me about that." And he was like, "Well, you know, there's these couple of girls and they never even spoke to me. And now they found out I have a lot of money and now they're all about me." And I was like, "Well, that's interesting, son, because now we have to have the gold digger conversation, right? A conversation you're
Hmm.
not usually used to having with your 9 or 10-year-old or your 11-year-old." And suddenly here we were. There were so many cool things that came out of this little business. And I think as a dad, that's super important because you want to create the early reps and the early failures for your kids, right? You want to give them a chance to go out there
Hmm.
and do things and mess up and hose things and lose money and things blow up in their face when they're young and they can rebound from it, right? You know,
Hmm.
like for instance, my son, we would go into stores to try to, but you know, we were doing a lot online and selling on Amazon. We're like, well, how can we expand our business? And the kids came up with, well, what if we go to some of the local like spas and salons and things like that, and maybe they'll let us sell our product, right? So we hit up this store in the local downtown, and the lady loved him, right? Oh, this is great. This is perfect. This goes perfect with all the things that we sell. You're in, right? So we come back a couple of weeks later, and the guy is there, and he says, "Hey, you're gonna have to get all your stuff out of our store." And my son's like, "What? Like, what do you mean? Like 2 weeks ago, you were all about us. We sold out. You know, you're making money. We're making money. What's the deal?" He goes, "Well, one of our other suppliers came in and they saw your product and they want you out of here. Or they're pulling their product and they sell a whole lot more in our store than you do. So you're out."
Another life lesson, another business lesson.
And so we walk outside the store, and this is really cool, Patrick. My son goes, "So we just got strong armed." I'm like, "Yeah, we got thrown out by a bigger supplier." I was like, "What do you want to do about it?" He goes, "Well, we're just going to go in all these other stores next time and sell there instead of his. And then we're going to go back and tell him about it." And I was like, "Yes." Right.
Where did that end up, and what was the result?
Well, we ended up selling in a few other stores. It was kind of interesting because to kind of play this out a little bit. So this went out over, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 years, something like that, right? Made pretty good money, especially for kids that age. But eventually they got to a spot where they didn't really need any more money. See, one of the things we've got going on with the kids nowadays is they don't need as much money as we did, right? At least to live at home with mom and dad, right? What did we do with all our money? We went out partying. We bought cars. We had stereos. We bought four wheelers. We went and did experiences. We went and did stuff, right? Well, what do? They hang out. They game. They play with each other online. They're constantly talking with each other. They stay at their houses and they have a better gaming system, a better movie system, anything that they could go out. It's a whole lot cheaper. They basically can stay at home and eat mom and dad's food and have a good time and hang out with all their friends, right? So to me, they don't go out and do as much stuff.
Did you require them to, did you kind of require them to save some money? I say require, encourage them to save their money, or did they just learn that too as another lesson that grew out
No,
of
I
all
think
that?
that's a big one, right? So what we did is we sat down and we came up with a percentage-based system. The big thing I taught him in one of the first books I got him was Richest Man in Babylon. And it talks about how you need to pay yourself first, right? And I think it's probably the most important lesson that you can teach your kids. Whatever you bring in, a portion of it should go to you first, right? For your future, for your investment, to put money into yourself, all those kind of things. So that was the first thing I did was whatever we make, we're going to put a portion of it in our investment fund. And our investment fund is going to be different than savings, right? Savings is for poor people. Okay. Savings is for like an emergency fund. But your investment account is your money, your soldiers, your things that make you more money, the things that make you money while you sleep. That was the big thing I was trying to push.
Did they start to look at this, Zane, like a bit of a game? I mean, you say they're kind of gamers. Did they realize, hey, we have the props, we have all the cool stuff. What are we going to do with these pieces? And they then started to assemble them. Is that what I'm kind of hearing you say here?
100%. I mean, you can literally gamify all of it, right? Where they get their badges and they level up and they do all those kind of things. And I think that's kind of the cool part as a parent and as an entrepreneur parent, was trying to set up those little challenge gates, whether they knew they were there or not, to try to get them to see why it was important and what they were doing, and kind of, like the lesson of I probably should have let him hire his buddy first, and then he could have seen how he didn't perform very well and he took all of his profits. I probably should have let that one go through.
As a dad, that's a tough one, isn't it? Do I give this advice? Do I hold back and let them learn the lesson on their own? Be sure to subscribe and like and follow so that you can catch the full episode when it comes out.